Hello everyone, my name is Hannah Brewer and today I'll be talking about Amiens Cathedral located in Amiens, France. So the first thing I want to talk about is the actual conception of the church. It was ordered to be built by Bishop Everard de Foyer after the original Amiens chapel burnt down in 1218 CE. He hired Robert de Lizarche as the head architect, and then under Robert were his assistants Thomas de Cormont and Thomas's son Renaud. All three of these fellows worked on the cathedral for different periods of time, starting with Robert in 1220 CE and then finishing with Renaud in 1288. Like most cathedrals at the time, it was named for its relative location in the Hauts-de-France region. And here I've included a picture of some of the relief work that you can find around Amiens. This one specifically depicts the virtues versus vices. So up top, we're looking at courage with the knight holding his shield and his sword. And then we've got cowardice down below, where he's dropped his sword and is running from what looks like a cute little bunny rabbit and a bird duo there. This is definitely an example of the architect showing off some humor. According to French historians, the aim of Amiens was to create a place of worship worthy of the city and its faith that was able to rival the other great cathedrals being built at the time, such as Chartres and Reims. I would say they definitely succeeded because Amiens boasts an interior space that is almost twice the size of Notre Dame in Paris, making it one of, if not the largest medieval cathedral in the world. Since its construction in the 1200s, most of the stained glass windows have been replaced, a lot of the stonework has been redone, painted over, and a lot of things have just had to have been rebuilt. Next, I want to look at some of the architectural features and aspects that make this a true Gothic church. Here you can see Amiens Labyrinth, which is located in the nave, and then next to it you can see one of the choir seats, which are just so ornate. I mean, this one is carved to represent Noah's Ark, but they're all different scenes, so you can imagine however many tens of seats are all this intricately carved. I mean, it's insane. Okay, so as you approach the cathedral, the first thing you're going to come across are these incredible portals. I mean, they are just fantastic. We're looking at three of them here. On the left, you have a depiction of the story of Saint Firmin, which was the first bishop of Amiens. On the right, you have images from the life of the Virgin Mary, and then your big central portal is going to show Christ surrounded by the 12 apostles. In its original state, all of the stonework would have been painted with bright colors, including the jambs, which if we look a little bit closer, we can see that they're a little more similar to the jambs that we've seen at Reims versus the older jambs that we've seen at Chartres. These have depth and volume in the drapery, and the faces and even the posing is full of expression. You can see here that they're attached to columns still as opposed to being in the round, but their posture and their posing is just so fantastic. It really jumps out at you. Actually, if we go back to looking at the face of these doors, we can see just how expressive these reliefs really are. The middle portal has three depictions of Christ, one on the tremeau and two on the tympanum, which you can see here. The lower on the tympanum has his hands raised as if to bless people, and then we can even see the painted pupils if we get up close in there. Higher up, we see apocalyptic Christ with the two swords coming from his mouth. And then the other image I have here is the tremeau on the right door. So we have Mary, who is depicted as the Queen of Heaven, and we can tell by her crown what she's wearing. And then she has the Christ child pressed against her cheek, showing compassion. Also, if you look closely, you can see that Mary is standing on a serpent to show her triumph over evil. Which again, if you think back to those jambs that we had in Chartres, the original ones, where it looked like the feet were just kind of dangling, here we can see she has purpose. Amiens also has some unique exterior supports, as we can see with these pairs of flying buttresses. Renaud de Cormont, Amiens' third architect, added these once the height of the church became too much for the originals to handle. The church wanted to buckle outwards, so with the addition of flying buttresses and a chain actually that runs through the top part of the church embedded within the walls, kind of holds it all in together. Note that the older buttresses are thicker and more solid, whereas the newer ones are thinner and use lace-like patterns, which would have been on par for High Gothic design as opposed to Early Gothic. That height is reflected inside the cathedral as well. Amiens is a 3-level structure with a full arcade, triforium, and clerestory. The ribbed groin vaults reach heights of about 140 feet, which the pointed arches are instrumental in achieving. Without them, I don't think you could get that kind of height. Another feature that sets Amiens apart is the foliate band that runs the length of the entire cathedral. It was started by Robert and then finished by Renaud, so although it appears like one seamless band, you can tell the phases of building by the art style. So Robert's earliest section of leaves might look a little less full than Thomas's, and then Renaud's might have more florals than leaves. So it's just a really cool way to see something that looks like it was all made at one time, but actually took a time span of about 60 years to complete.
The windows at Amiens are noteworthy as well. Unfortunately, most of the cathedral's original windows, which would have been initially donated by wealthy families from the area, have not survived the ages. The majority of what you'll see now at Amiens are reproductions from the 19th century, made to perfectly replicate the original bar stained glass. And though there are multiple stained glass lintel windows at Amiens, the two rose windows absolutely take the cake. As you can see, this one here is located on the west side of the church, and the other can be found within the southern transept. The most unique feature of Amiens, in my opinion, is the octagonal labyrinth that's found in the nave. It was a later addition in the construction, and the plaque at the center depicts the architects of Amiens. You have Everard de Fouloy, Robert du Luzarches, Thomas de Cormont, and his son Renaud. French historian Dr. Imogene Cataldo said of it, some art historians believe that walking the labyrinth could serve the purpose of a virtual pilgrimage in lieu of traveling to the Holy Land. And at last, here we see the floor plan of Amiens. This was my favorite version that I was able to find because of the detail in which the church has been rendered. Not only do we see the labyrinth right here in the nave, but we can also see clearly defined the buttresses, staircases, outbuildings, and there are even some notes and diagrams from the architects. The last couple features of Amiens I'd like to discuss are its relics and the treasury. Amiens is an enormous church, and it makes a lot of sense that it would boast a large treasury to match. Two of the most famous artifacts I've pictured here. This one is the reliquary of the head of John the Baptist, who was Jesus' cousin, and then also you can see here the Paraclete votive crown. The treasury at Amiens is divided into multiple categories, so you have objects related to the Eucharist, processional objects, incense-related items, objects of devotion, which is mostly what I pictured here, pilgrimage objects, and ecclesiastical insignia. Mediums within the treasury include works of goldsmithing, painting, sculpture, and textiles. And that just about wraps up Amiens Cathedral. Thank you guys so much for watching.